Today we're going to be learning about the Pythagorean theorem. Most of you have probably seen this before, and most of you probably remember the formula as a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So on this diagram, our c would be the hypotenuse, and then our other two sides would be a and b, and we'd have a little right angle right here because the Pythagorean theorem only works with right-angled triangles. Another way of learning the Pythagorean theorem is learning that it's hypotenuse squared equals the other two sides squared and added together. So we focus on the hypotenuse coming first and being squared, and we label our hypotenuse here. And then we just have the other two sides, and we can square and add them together. Again, this is for a right triangle, so we have the little right angle symbol there. By learning it this way, we always acknowledge that it's the hypotenuse that is squared and by itself on the one side, and then everything else is on the other side, and we square and add them together. A lot of students just memorize the formula, but there is some background as to why this formula works. If we look here, we have our hypotenuse here, and we have our other two sides here and here. And if you draw a square off of each of these sides, like you can see here, there's a square right here, and on the other two sides as well. If you take the area of the larger square, so this one right here, that will equal the sum of the area of this square and this square. So let's do a specific example. If we make this edge right here equal to 5, and this edge 4, and this one 3, I know already that this one works with the Pythagorean theorem. And what we find out, or what we would calculate, is the area of this square would be 5, which is right here, times 5. And to get the area of this entire square, you'd do 5 times 5, so this would be equal to 25. If we did the 4 times 4 for this square, we'd get 16. And if we did the 3 times the 3 here, this square right here would be 9. And if we look, 25 is equal to 16 plus 9. So this brings us to our actual Pythagorean theorem. The area of this square, which was 25, is equal to the area of this squared plus this squared. Okay, so that gives us 5 squared equals 4 squared plus 3 squared, the Pythagorean theorem. Now let's look at a specific example. If we were looking at this, we want to figure out how high up this ladder can reach up a building. Okay, the real world application of this is firefighters would want to know how high up their ladder could reach so that they could rescue people, and how high up they could rescue those individuals. So if we look, we want to figure out what h is. So we sub that into our Pythagorean theorem. We always start with what's the hypotenuse. In this case, it would be the 10. So we get 10 squared equals the other two sides squared and add together, 3 squared plus h squared. They use h for height, not hypotenuse. We get 10 squared is 100, which equals 9, and h squared. We bring the 9 over, and this would subtract off, leaving 91 equals h squared. And if you remember this from way back when, I want to get rid of that squared symbol right here and take it to the other side. And when I do that, I'll have to do the opposite operation. So the opposite of taking the square of something is the square root. And I get square root of 91 equals h. And when we finish that off, and we end up getting h would be equal to 9.5 meters. So in this scenario, firefighters know that with the ladder of 10 meters, they can reach 9.5 meters up the side of a building. And that's it. Have a good day.